Hello everyone, John here, and I am back with another Fuuto PI review. So this time we're reviewing episode 2. I know this is going to be coming out much later than the first episode did, but been kind of a busy week recording stuff, so sorry that this came out so late. But it's fine as long as I get it out, I guess. Jumping right into it, I said in the first episode that it ended with them sort of looking like they were going to transform. And episode 2 started like that, but they didn't transform. So I was wrong about that, unfortunately. You get to see them transform until the very end of the episode, which is, you know, very Toku-esque. That happens a lot. This is actually the first time we get to see the opening and hear the theme song, and it doesn't really have many vocals to it, and it's obviously very jazzy, kind of like Kamen Rider W is. Especially with the music and stuff, it's very jazzy. Hate the opening, but I don't really like it either. It's definitely going to take some time for it to grow on me, but for now, it's alright. The visuals of the opening, though, are really nice, and we do get to see, XL and, his two other forms, and then, some double stuff, and all the characters, and the typical opening stuff. So basically, this episode is mostly about Tokime and sort of the road dopant. So we learn that Tokime also has the power to move through walls, so that's another power of hers. She moves through the wall, and actually later on in the episode, besides moving through the wall and sort of disappearing, she moves through thin air and then disappeared. It needs to be another one of her powers, is just to sort of disappear, kind of, which is quite interesting. That's not really something I guess a dopant could do, especially when they're not transformed like she is. So I don't know. And a little bit later on, after that first scene, Chitaro is talking to the guy. I don't remember his name. They'll call him the Simp Man. He's talking to him, and he's telling him that there used to be an organization who produced Gaia memories, but they were taken out. Fortunately, some of those memories are still around, which is probably how Tokime got one. And then he also mentions the black market and how they're really expensive on the black market, which is kind of a parallel to real life, I guess, with how expensive it is to get the CSM, double driver and stuff like that. So kind of funny. But obviously this is a reference to Double, I'm pretty sure, and what happened, the big family or whatever that was pumping out the Gaia memories. From what I know, that's exactly correct, but this is what I remember from what little I've seen of Double. But obviously, they have to win, so they definitely were taken out. What happens is, so when the Simp Man starts to kind of diss on Fuuto a little bit, we hear that Shitaro has actually a lot of pride towards Fuuto, and he wants it to be a place that people love. And that's why he works so hard as a detective. Quite nice to see someone so passionate about a city that they live in. And I believe this is similar to Double as well. I think he is just as passionate in Double as he is in this. So I think the characters are matching pretty well, at least from what I know, like I said. Speaking of characters that are the same in this and Double, we have Philip. And this is the first time we really see Philip, besides the beginning. And I guess the last episode where we get to see him talk and stuff like that. And we see him use his database thing where he has to have the code words, and he uses the code words to find the book and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool in this, just like it is in the show. So I really like that we get to see some of the stuff from the show show up in the anime. I think it's really nice to see that, especially for people who have seen Double. And since Philip used the database thing, he actually finds out that the culprit of all the crimes is using the road guy memory, which is, I think it's a new one. It has to be. And that the culprit is using the road guy memory. And then we also learned that this alternate world or whatever from the road memory user, so the person who's using the road memory uses their own blood to sort of create this other world, which is kind of nuts, honestly. And it's only something you can do in an anime or manga, because it's kind of it'd be too expensive to do that in real life. So it's cool to see that here. And then on top of that, we learn that the road user is actually a cannibal who needs human material to satiate their hunger, which is really dark, kind of creepy, and also very taboo to talk about. It's interesting that we're kind of getting more, I guess, adult themes here, and because like you can't really show cannibalism on TV, I'm pretty sure, but if it's anime, basically anything goes. So it's something different. On all these conclusions and stuff, Philip believes that the road dopant is actually Tokime, and Shitaro agrees, but he doesn't seem to fully believe that it's true. It's just what he thinks of at the time. And spoiler alert, but he's right. It's not her, and Philip is actually wrong. And obviously, while I was watching this, I thought the same thing because I was like, "There's no way." Like, sure, it seems kind of fitting, but like, there's not enough evidence to point at her. So I knew it wasn't true, but you know, if you're not paying attention, you're probably like, "Oh yeah, it is," which is cool, I guess. And after this, we see that Shitaro is actually doing detective work again, like in the first episode, where it's kind of a montage of him going around talking to people, and he kind of does get some info about like students seeing the witch. He finds out that these students were sitting near like a tree. He really likes these certain flowers on the tree called flowering dogwood, which is a weird name. And then it shows a flashback of her harassing these kids because she doesn't want the stench of human blood like on the tree or the flowers or whatever. So, which it seems a little bit out of character for her, and it might be true, but I think maybe it's like the kids kind of overreacting to seeing someone just in a tree like that. It's interesting, and what is true, and is actually a big hint, now that I realize it, the biggest tree of that kind is owned by Tachikawa, I think is the name, who seemed to kind of be like Yakuza. So I thought that Tokime was involved with Tachikawa, but it seems like whoever at Tachikawa is trying to like sort of pin this on Tokime so that they can be free. So I think that's what's happening. At least, I mean, I don't know, that's just what I think. Same spot where Shitaro finds that tree, we see the first dopant in the show, which is actually the road dopant. And it looks, it's massive, it's scary, it does a lot of damage, and it's pretty sick. Then asks Tokime if she is the dopant, and she seems to have no idea what he means by that. Like, she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know what a dopant is. She doesn't really know anything. And that's also another hint for the end of the episode. So I'll save it for then. So then we get into the next scene, which is pretty important for like the rest of the episode. And Philip basically roasts Shitaro for having feelings for Tokime. So he kind of finds out, and then Shitaro kind of gets embarrassed and kind of mad as well, and he slams a double driver on the desk and then leaves. And this is important, which we'll talk about in a second, but it is important to the end of the episode and sort of the return of Philip. After this, when he storms off, he goes to see Tokime once again bathing in the bath fountain thing. So you know you have that for all that's the little fan service there. But then he starts talking to her, and we learn that she actually has amnesia, and she has no idea who she is, which is why she says she's always hungry. A little twist to her character that makes her even more mysterious, which she's definitely the most fascinating character on the show. I don't think anyone could disagree on that. We see that her guy memory is actually broken, but it seems like she's able to sense where other dopants are, which is how she is able to rob those other people in the past. So she has her guy memory, but it's broken, but she still has powers. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it is interesting. And then when Tokime senses something and the guy memory starts like heat up, the Tachikawa people come up, and Shitaro learns that the real killer is actually from that group. And then he reveals himself, of course. This is pretty much about the end of the episode. So the big fight of the episode happens here, and Chitaro, like a fool, had a fight with Philip, so he isn't able to teleport like he did in the past, and he can't transform since he's by himself, so he has to fight solo. For him, it's not that long that he has to fight solo because Philip comes in with that weird double bike thing. I'll put a picture because I don't know what it is, and he helps Shotaro out. Both of them are side to side, and Shotaro puts on the driver, and they finally become Kamen Rider W. They use their base form, which is Cyclone Joker, and it just looks so good. Is that they even use the same sounds and effects from the show, so it kind of it's like a throwback, really. It's sick. The transformation is so good. The suit is so good. Like, I don't know who animated this, but they did a good job of sort of replicating the feel of Double. So, big shout out to them for doing that because it looks great. And unfortunately, like the first episode, it ends with them transforming, and literally the last shot is the suit. So we have to wait until episode 3 to see them fight. So another cliffhanger, but once again, like I said before, very Tokusatsu thing to end on a cliffhanger like that. And before I wrap this up, I do want to talk about the goofy dancing that they do for the ending song, as well as the song being pretty good, actually. I do like it more than the opening. I think it's by someone who has done Rider or Sentai before, at least openings. It definitely sounds like it. I have to look into it, but I like the ending a lot better than the opening. So that's about it for this review of episode 2. I think this episode was good, and I can't wait to see more of Tokimate's mystery sort of unravel in these next episodes coming up. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next Fuuto PI review.